Well, you'll just be really fat in the wide shot.
This is like a no-no normally in photography.
Really?
Like I remember one of the first photographers that I had a gig for. I was doing an event at a photo exhibition that he had, and he told me like he had like a full frame camera and a 16mm lens, and he was asking me to take like pictures of the event and people. Like, don't put people in the corner of the image because faces are going to be like distorted like fish. And that's exactly what I'm doing to us right now.
Exactly. I think we got like a 12mm lens somewhere. We put it on the Blackmagic once, and we were recording the podcast in the corner. And someone's hand was on the corner of the couch, and it was like a third of the frame. Just these long fish fingers. It was so funny.
It's so distorted you can't barely tell what it is. Like, is that an animal? What is that?
Are you going to do the honors?
Please.
No, you do
go
it. No, I think I did it last time.
I'll do the asymmetrical clap.
The extra special clap. I can't use the word I've been using all day. So this is number 12.
Yes, it is.
And this time actually is 8 months.
Yes, we
So
lied.
you were saying because last time we had a big gap.
Yeah.
I thought,
We
but we
did have-
hadn't.
We did have, but it was not as big as we thought it was. I think it was like 3 or 4 months, but we thought it was like 7 or 8. But now it's truly.
It really is 8 months.
Yeah.
So in the last 8 months, what have we been getting up to?
I think we have just been lifting weights like maniacs. Like this is like we've really had no need to sit down and talk like this because we've been doing that in the gym.
That's right. That's right. Please Photoshop like big biceps onto Arnold's biceps. Yeah, we've been doing it pretty much Monday to Thursday, almost without fail. There's been times I've been sick or you've been a little bit busy, but
Oh, I've been sick too. Yeah, it's exactly. But that's normal. But overall, we've been really consistent, I feel. Do you feel like, the benefits of it now compared to like, before you started working out?
I feel strong. I feel like I could move a couch now without the risk of my back breaking. I feel really, really good. And then it's just that sense of accomplishment. Like actually, you say this all the time. Oh, I've done something today. Even though it's the beginning of the day, at least I've done something. And so I feel so much better, man. So much stronger. I can even pick Bonnie up now. We were at the beach the other day, and you can take a shortcut off the pier onto the sand, but you have to jump like maybe shoulder height. And I was like, okay, Bonnie, I can pick you up. I'll pick you up. She's like, put me down. I'm like, no, I can carry you now. I'm a real man. Meanwhile, my feet are like, ow.
If you had shoes on, it would not have been a problem.
Exactly. Yeah, it's the shoes. But you've been working out most of your life.
Yeah, I mean, so that's why I was asking you how you felt, because like this is normally I'm in shape.
Yeah.
So like
you've always been in shape.
It's an exception if I'm not.
Yeah.
And I feel just off balance, and I'm moody, and I'm just a shitty person when I'm not in shape. I've figured out I have to be in shape.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just a miserable person. Like I'm truly, literally addicted to it. I have to.
We have to ask Helga about that. It just feels good to do something difficult, and then there is a benefit to the next day, and you're reminded of the pain. It's good. It's really, really good. So for me, in the last year and a half, that's roughly about how long we've been working out together. It's a world apart.
Right. Has it only been a year and a half? It feels like it might have been longer. Is it only a year and a half we've been working out together?
Actually, I don't know. It's about a year and a half, maybe two.
Yeah.
But the last 8 months have been intense.
Right.
Also because of the ice bath.
Yes.
So I don't think we talked about the ice bath last time.
No.
So the ice bath has upped the ante a lot. What's your experience of the ice bath?
I really, really love it. I tried it a little bit in Iceland, but it's like part of the culture there. Like every public swimming pool has it.
Yeah.
But like, I've not tried this. I've never done the Huberman thing of like doing an ice bath and then doing a workout right after. I really, really, I think I feel the benefits of it, but it's hard to tell, but I feel great. I feel really great.
Through the pandemic, we were sick so often, like the most I've ever been sick in my life.
Right.
Generally, I get sick once a year and then move on. But I don't know if it was the COVID, I don't know if it was the masks or things spreading extra or not. I don't know how it all worked. But I was sick for like 30% of the time over 2 years, which is terrible. And one of those or two of those times was COVID itself, which everyone had a taste of, which was yummy. So we were sick, and then we started ice bathing. And honestly, from the moment we started the ice bath, I felt like my immune system just picked up. Maybe it was just in my brain. Maybe I just think it's that way, placebo. But even if it's placebo, I'm happy we did it. I just feel so much better for it.
I'm sure it has had an effect.
It has to, man.
I mean, this is literally like the defense mechanism of the body. When you get sick, you get a fever. There's a reason for it, because that eradicates whatever is ailing you.
Right.
If it's extreme enough. And if you go into the cold, you're like, no, yeah, that's probably the sauna more than anything.
maybe it's the other way around.
That was like a little...
This bro science talking right now.
yeah. Listen to Huberman, do not listen to me.
But you're probably freezing it out. I don't know. Bugs should do worse in the cold than in the heat, right?
Should, yes.
Yeah. So I don't know how it works. What I do know is getting sick regularly versus just feeling good. Like the endorphin rush is so good. It's so good.
It also just feels so good getting it over with. Like, it feels horrible. Every single time I'm on that ledge about to go in, it feels like every fiber of me does not want to do it. But like it feels equally good after. Like,
Yes.
Once you've conquered those whatever long time we've decided to do that day, it feels so nice when we're done. And especially if the sun is out, because it's out on the roof. It's amazing.
The contrast is beautiful.
Yeah.
My favorite moment getting into an ice bath is when I've done it first and I get out and I'm warming up and you're about to get in. That is my favorite moment, because I know the fear. We all know the fear and that trepidation, and I don't want to do this, but someone's watching and they've already done their shots. I've got to follow through. It is so delicious.
You saw me.
And if you're watching me, you also feel that same thing.
100%.
It's unbelievable how good it is. And it's so dumb as well. Like, who jumps into a bucket of ice?
I can't even speak to pretend I'm a real man. I'm a real man. Don't laugh. That's so horrific. Woo-wee.
It's so crazy. Every time we get in there, I get on like the ledge about to go, and I'm like, what are we doing? This is so stupid.
And this goes against everything that you've been told. Like, I think like especially here in Hong Kong, local people, they would never do this.
No, this is
never
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
But then the feeling afterwards is worth it. And then I think the science says there's health benefits. And I think I felt that. So I'm sold. I love it.
I definitely think that testosterone is affected positively. I think supposedly your body has a better time like regulating heat and cold.
Okay.
So because you cool down apparently a little bit before you fall asleep, your body cools down, and that system is like better exercised if you do cold plunge regularly. So you're supposed to also get some sleep benefits.
I remember when we first started, the first couple of weeks, I would get sleepy at like 3 p.m. after doing it. I'd be like so tired. So there must be an effect. I don't know if you should be doing it in the evening or the morning, or I don't know what's the best way, but it certainly affected me.
I was just listening to like a Huberman clip where he was saying
the messiah of plunging.
Yeah, I mean he's about to get canceled right at the moment, so we should like maybe bleep his name out just to be sure.
The man that shall not be named.
What's the word? The word where you have your muscles, they go through
hypertrophy.
Yes, that's the word that I was trying to say.
Yeah.
So like if you do cold plunging after working out, then you're fighting against that.
Right.
So he says that you should do it like before lifting weights.
Right.
Or before running, not after. Because you're
doing.
losing, because you would lose that the effects of the
hypertrophy.
There you go.
Yeah, I think also because our little redneck attempt at an ice bath, which is genius, but it's redneck, because it'll be broken this week and we've been re-siliconing it. We haven't done it this week, and it's so hot in the gym, like you're just instantly sweating. But if you do ice bath, you can do 20 minutes of deadlifts and still not be sweating.
Yeah,
because your core's just so cold. I think we got it the right way around.
That's also one of the things that they talk about, right? That you should let your body heat up itself. You shouldn't like go into a hot pod or hot shower. You should let your body reheat itself,
Right.
By itself. And it also just makes sense. Like when you're doing workouts in the gym, you're like breaking down the muscles, and the muscles like build up again. When you're going into a cold plunge, you're like cooling everything down, and you're making the body spend energy to warm up again.
Right.
So like, you probably gain more energy just through that effect.
Yeah.
So because you're using more energy, because if we just do the weights and we don't do the cold plunge, we use less energy that way, right?
I think you're right. I have no idea.
I think so.
I'm a fat idiot. I don't know anything.
Yeah, no one should listen to me either.
No, but I think you're right. I think that's the reading we've done. That's the pattern that we're following. I think we're doing it the right way around. I just know that it feels good. I know it's difficult. It really is. Mentally, it's incredibly difficult. Once you're in there for 40 seconds, you feel like, oh, I can do this. And we've done crazy amounts of time. We've done like close to half an hour.
You have done in half an hour. Yeah. I have not done half an hour.
Thank you for that compliment. Thank you for feeding me that. I laid it up so that you could give it to me.
I'm not going to even attempt to try to beat that.
Well, you did. What did you do? 27, 25?
I did 25, and I was shivering like I was in cold turkey. I felt like I was about to die. Like it was like, I felt horrific. I'm not going to try to do that again.
Honestly,
that was a mistake.
I felt fine after half an hour. I'm so fat.
I'm jealous.
I just kept my warmth.
I'm jealous. I'm so jealous.
So we've gone to crazy things, but now we've done the sauna. So this week we've done the sauna 3 times.
Yes.
For an hour, pretty much.
Each time. Yes.
Each time, which is crazy.
That's a lot.
That's crazy.
What do you think is more difficult for you? Is it the sauna, or is it the cold plunge, or is it difficult in a different way? How is the experience for you?
The sauna invites you in. It feels so nice stepping into the sauna, and you sort of slowly warm up. And then at the end, it's really hard. But the ice bath is exactly the opposite. It's short, it's sharp, it's really hard to do it. Yeah. But it sort of becomes easier the longer you do it.
Right.
Like your body gets used to the water around you.
Yeah.
So they're completely different games. I don't know I think I prefer the sauna because it's more relaxing.
Right.
Whereas the ice bath is invigorating. So the cold shower after the sauna is amazing. It's but it's amazing.
I feel just like barely functioning. I feel like, severely brain fogged at the end of the sauna.
Yeah.
And like after like you said, after the cold shower, like I feel like more awake and like smarter, like 30% smarter than usual.
Which is not very smart.
Barely functioning.
You look like you were on a high today, getting out of the sauna. After the cold shower, you looked like you were extra awake.
I felt like I felt buzzed. I felt like a slightly buzzed, like a natural buzz in my head. I loved it. It was a great feeling. I really liked the feeling. I wish I could have like a colder shower, or even a cold plunge right after. That would have been like, because then you get that feeling like times 3 or 4. But that's what when I go to Iceland and I go between like the overly hot, like 42-degree hot pot, and then like the 5-degree cold, like water, that feeling is just magnified at least 3 times.
That's extreme.
Yeah, I love it.
I can't wait till we get our new ice bath, which hopefully is coming next month. It's been coming for the last 5 months, but we've been talking about this, talking to the camera. But having the hot and cold, I'm actually a little nervous.
So even after the experience today, like, because you also felt good after going into the cold, right?
I do, but that first couple seconds out of that cold stream, it's terrifying. Like I scream like a little girl. So I can't imagine getting from boiling hot. Well, it's not boiling, but it's 42 degrees centigrade water.
We could
40,
probably
whatever.
set it to something more humane.
And then going to 5 degree or 3 degree water.
Right.
I can't get my head around that, and I think that's going to be shocking.
It is going to be rough. It feels like you know when you said like put like Mentos or something on your
Yes.
skin. That's what it feels like going from cold to warm. Like it's just like your skin is just like it's a very odd sensation.
It's going to be tricky. So we're doing plunges at 3.5 degrees at the moment, centigrade. I think we should start plunges at like 10 or 15 degrees.
I think that would
With
be
the
very
contrast.
smart. Yes, because it's going to be flowing. It's not going to be stagnant water. It's going
Yeah.
to be like constant cold. We're not going to get any of that bubble effect that we get in the fridge. By the way, how did you figure out how to do the fridge? Because you figured the technical side out on that. Did you go to Reddit forums? Did you just like how did you figure out how to set it up that way?
I'm just very clever. No, I'm very dumb. No, just YouTubed it. We just YouTubed it. Because you said to us 8 months ago, you said, Sean, let's get an ice bath. And because I'm cheap. And also, I don't know if it's a good thing, because I'd never done an ice bath in my life. Being from Iceland, you've been exposed to cold water and stuff. So I just Googled it, and I think there were some forums. And then we just got as you know, just the cheapest Taobao freezer that was big enough for my fat ass. And then
You're so kind to yourself.
and then we just siliconed the edge, which wasn't that great. The silicon is really not brilliant. Since then, I've seen other guys paint it with like a special, like a rubber pond liner, and that works better.
Okay.
They get colors and they make it blue and all the rest.
Is there more give in that fabric or what is it?
I think so. I've never done it.
Okay.
But the silicon, because I'm big, it's shifted the lining of the freezer a little bit. And so the silicon doesn't stretch as much. So it's just separated.
I mean, it's a fridge. It's not made to like hold a human standing in it like
Yeah.
we're doing like constantly. We
Yeah.
do try to take a little bit of the weight off, like with
it's
the sides.
Bent.
But yeah, those sides are also bent.
Yeah.
But for me, like it's worked for what now? Like almost 10 months.
Yeah.
Eight,
Yeah, something like that.
definitely 8 months, and it's worked perfectly. It's been great. I enjoy that. Like it shouldn't be used that way, and it still somehow works.
Yeah, just complete redneck.
Yeah. It's been a journey. I really enjoyed it, but I totally get. It would be such a better thing to have like a properly designed, proper cold plunge instead of rednecking it.
Dude, you're advertising our new product.
Because all of a sudden it broke, and now we can't do it. We haven't been able to do it for a week.
Yeah.
And that's annoying because I miss it. I'm sure you miss it too.
I don't. No, I do. I really do miss it. Actually, I was trying to fix it yesterday, and whilst I was fixing it, I was like, I really do miss this because it is an event. But the new one is going to be a big boy. It's going to be beautiful, and I think you can use it for the cold and the hot. I can see myself in winter just using the hot jacuzzi side.
Right.
So I think it's going to be excellent, and I think we're going to sell them. I'm really excited about that.
I think it's like also like because like so many people and from so many different directions are talking so positively about all the effects of cold plunge.
Yeah.
We had some friends visiting from Iceland recently, and just like a housewife, a woman with 3 kids, were just here on a vacation with her friend. She said she had gone on a seminar with cold plunge, and she's not like an athletic person. She's just like a normal person. She was talking about all the benefits of it and talking about that she really enjoyed the experience and liked it.
It's getting popular, man.
It is.
Well, if noobs like us are trying it, definitely it's getting popular.
Definitely. So also like I haven't heard a lot of people like of course like I don't know what the term is, like I heard some people talk about the contrast therapy going from hot and cold, and people have talked about the sauna separately, and then they talked about the cold plunge, but I haven't heard about too many people going back and forth so much. But that's something that I really I don't know, I just crave it when I'm in Iceland. I really Like I make a point to go to the swimming pool and do it because I enjoy it so much.
I've been getting into like building videos where people build their own stuff out of wood and things. And so one of those things is building saunas. And often they're doing it in snowy places. And they'll do the sauna, go out in the snow, or they'll break ice into a pond, dunk, and then back in the sauna. There's something so romantic about that.
That's so hardcore. That's beautiful.
The contrast is going to be good. It's going to be. I can't wait, man. Next month.
Hope so.
Yeah, we've been waiting 5 months for it to be done, but it's going to be good. Yeah, I don't think I wouldn't do it by myself, probably. It's quite a mental battle to just decide you're going to do it, but doing it with others, it's fun because you get to experience the joy of them in pain, and then it's just that accountability that okay, we have to do this now.
Yeah, like your pain, it
Yes.
literally feeds me. I really enjoy it.
I don't like the psychosis in your eyes.
You have the same thing. You're just saying.
I do. But it's been good, man. It's been so nice to be healthy and working out. But one thing that I realized, some of the weights that we do, I'm like getting close to your weight that you do on some things.
You could surpass me in many weights, man.
So
I'm telling you.
No, well, I haven't. I have
You
never
can.
done that.
You can.
But my brain says to me, okay, you're almost as strong as EG.
You are actually stronger.
No. And then today, and it's been a few times, but today was a reminder. Today we did some weird exercise, and I was struggling with half the weight that you were doing. I was going like back down to baby weights. And it just reminded me again how strong you are, dude. You're very strong.
I think just like I've done this since I was a teenager, and that's like a very awkward, like weird movement for doing shoulders, right?
Yeah.
So that's like when do you do this? You never do this movement.
Opening up my McLaren. That's the only time I use it, but it's only one arm.
Obviously, I'm from rich people.
Yeah.
It's the McLaren.
Everyone's
move.
got McLarens,
right? But like deadlift and squats, you're naturally really, really strong
It's just
in
been
that.
called fat.
Look,
I got to carry this mama around.
you're so kind to yourself. It's so enjoyable to be around you. You berate yourself so brutally. Your inner dialogue is so rough.
It's horrific. No, but you're very strong, man. So it's been good to work out. Thank you.
No, I've been. I like I said to you today. I think I wouldn't have worked out as hard this week if I wouldn't have had a partner in it. There's like when you have someone to train with that's like equally as interested in doing it as you. It's like I know you hate this word, accountability.
Yeah, I do hate it.
But it's just like
It's true.
So like the equivalent would be like if you wrote it down.
Yeah.
And if you're writing down honestly like a lower number or you're doing less the week after, you just like you feel bad.
Yeah.
You look down on yourself.
Yeah.
You're not pushing it. You're not like going for it.
But now I've got EG to look down on me.
and I have you making sure that I like keep up.
And so you've always been fit, but me not being fit and then attempting to be fit, I can see the difference. And so that's like an extra energy boost, encouragement to say, okay, keep on this track because you're feeling stronger, you're sleeping better, all of the things that come with.
So now like if you try to go back like 2 years or so in time,
Yes.
do you feel like a difference in mindset, or do you feel any like apart from just feeling like I can move the sofa and I'm not worried about my health?
Yeah.
Do you feel any other changes apart from that in daily life? After you started training regularly.
I think life is always growing, you're always changing and adapting and learning and drawing from those experiences. So I don't think my trajectory has changed that much because it wasn't like I wasn't applying myself. I was applying myself, but in areas that had nothing to do with health. And I sacrificed my health so I could apply in those areas. But now focusing on health, it's just like I've shifted attention. So my trajectory, it wasn't like I was doing nothing with my life, going nowhere, and now this is the building block. This was put to one side because I could apply myself in another area. But one of the things that I value, and I think we've spoken about this, but one of the things I value is I want to be useful. And I know you want to be useful too. It's a big thing for you.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to help people when they need it, and I want to have resources extra. I want to have an ability to understand things that maybe someone else doesn't understand, so I can give them a leg up if I can be supportive. I don't like going to someone's house and not washing the dishes or not helping to clean up or not. Although you invited us last week and we didn't clean up at all. But, that's the heart of it, the mentality of it. And about a year and a half ago-ish, my brother's dog, Frank, freaked out and broke his leg. And they were out on a walk near the beach. It was 1 a.m. and they were struggling. And so I see the message and I go and help. And in us helping, we were trying to get the dog onto a trolley and push the dog from the beach to our offices so that we could keep him warm. He was shivering and cold, and then figure out how to get in contact with a vet and all the rest, drive the dog to the vet.
Goodness.
So it's like this big thing, and we're thinking, the dog's angry. It's a big dog, and because he's sore, so we can't like just pick him up. And we don't know if all his legs are broken or just one leg, and it's just a big mess. So we eventually coax the dog onto a trolley, one of these big metal trolleys, and we're pushing him along, but we're pushing him gently, and we're picking up the trolley, not trying to get bitten, but over little curbs and bumps. And it would usually be a 5-minute walk, but it turns out to be like an hour and a half walk, trying to get the dog back to the offices. And in that time, my back seizes up.
Oh no.
And I'm trying not to tell Jaden like that, because I'm trying to be helpful, not accost. And it's his dog, and he's been bitten in the arm. And so in that moment, I was like, you fat idiot. You want to be helpful, but you're now becoming a weight, literally. So get fit. And so in that moment, it was a huge spark for me you can't afford to do good for business or do good in this area, in that area, and let your health die. Like if you don't have health, you can't apply yourself in these other things. And so that was a big motivation to get fit, get healthy, make sure your back's strong. So I know deadlifts are dangerous. A lot of people say don't do them, but I'm so grateful we do deadlifts, because I'm like, that's the thing that stopped me. It didn't stop me help my brother, but it was a hindrance. That's the thing that stopped me. So that's the thing I want to make sure is the strongest.
It's a fun lift, and we're also trying to approach it like smartly. We're not like we can do much more than we're doing, but we're like tapering off. We're trying to do it methodically because we want to be in one piece.
Very unlike you, E.G. To be wise and methodical.
This is all your smartness rubbing off on me.
That's not true at all. I'm the idiot who goes, okay, I'll do whatever you say. Something breaks.
But man, I hadn't heard that story about Frank. That's the name of the dog, right?
Yeah.
Man, that must have been like such a rough experience for you guys. That was during the middle of the night.
Middle of the night in the middle of winter. And so it was horrible for Jaden and for Charlotte. I just wanted to be helpful in what I can. So for me, it was horrible because I'm just fat, and so I want people to be able to depend on me. I have my phone on at night, so if anyone calls,
and people do,
I'm there.
And people can.
Yeah. But that's where I see my value, and not everyone has to do that. I don't think that's the right thing for everybody, but that's what I want to be. And so when I wasn't able to deliver on what I'm saying is a value for me, I need to make an adjustment. And then the other thing that really helped me, especially for the ice bath, was when we did have COVID, a year and a half, 2 years or whatever, there was about a 2-hour period when we first got it where I couldn't breathe. And I was going, and like consciously breathing, which is a terrifying thing. Yeah. And Bonnie was like, Sean, are you okay? I'm like, I'm fine. I've just got a cold. Just leave me. And I sat in the room by myself for 2 hours. And like playing in my mind, like, is this how you die? What happens with Sammy when I die? Oh. This is not good. And part of it was just because I'm fat. Like, that's horrific.
No, but I think a lot of people have had the same symptoms, right? It does like mess up your oxygen, like ability to pick up oxygen, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But if the fatter you are, the worse that factor is for you.
Really?
Well, bro science, man. For me, I felt like it affected me.
Okay.
I felt like it was harder work just to move my lungs.
Okay.
Whereas I felt if I was fitter and I'd been moving my lungs, running or swimming or whatever, it would have been easier. But I could be wrong. But that's what I felt.
It sounds to me like, your inner dialogue was just like really, really berating and not nice to you.
I absolutely was. And I said to myself, Sean, you can't let this be. You had the Frank experience. You've got to really make a change. And I already started, but it gave me an encouragement to keep on. And so from that, I've made sure, and I'm also thinking, you die because you're unhealthy. You're leaving a 3-year-old boy at the time. That's not right. Because I like McDonald's. Screw that. Be a man, wake up, take responsibility, do what you can. I'm not trying to become a 100-meter sprinter or the world's strongest man. Just be fit.
Right.
Be hopeful and be fit. Walk up the stairs without sweating. So that was part of the motivation. So, but what motivated you? Because you've been fit your whole life. I mean, you were born in a gym.
I don't know. I just kind of I never really thrived in school, to be honest. I can
see.
I did. I don't know why, but
no, that's not true at all. You're a very bright man.
I never liked it. I never I'm better in a small group, 2, 3 people, 4 people at the max. I never really thrived in any of those. So for me, initially the gym was kind of an escape. It was something that okay, I can do this if I do this systematically, and I could feel this was something that I was good at.
Right.
So I just I don't know, it was I was doing something horrible, something that I really didn't want to do most of the day, school. Yep. And then I had something that I actually was good at or felt like I was good at or had interest in after school. I think I started lifting weights maybe around when I was 15.
That's young, hey?
Because I think it's in our culture that we have a lot of strongmen, and we have a lot of really, really just strong people, both not in just strongmen but also in powerlifting.
Yeah.
So it was all around. I grew up idolizing when I was a kid a guy called Jon Paul, and he was I was 4 or 5 years old, and this was when you were 4 or 5, you had someone that I don't know what people have today, a YouTuber like Logan Paul or Jake Paul or something. For me, that was John Paul.
Right.
That was my Paul.
That was his name. Is that the guy that says, "I'm not an Eskimo"?
Yeah.
Some very brave person in the crowd has actually called him an Eskimo, and he's held that remark all right.
I'm not an Eskimo. I'm a Viking.
If he hadn't been engaged in something else.
I'm not an Eskimo. Beautiful.
For context, E.G. loves that clip. He's shown it to me a couple times.
I have to try to put it in the pod. And anyway, so I think that's part of a little bit of an escapism. So
right.
And then it kind of just escalated. I just everyone kept asking. The first question is always how much do you bench? So I was okay. I'm going to make sure that's going to be a really, really good number. So I wanted that to be 100 kilos. And then I wanted that to be 120 kilos. But then I wanted that to be 140 kilos. Then I wanted that to be 150 kilos. And it just escalated to some ridiculous amount. But that now I have a different perspective. Back then it was an ego thing. So
right.
I wanted to have something that I was good at because I didn't feel I was good at school, so I needed to have something that I was good at.
Yeah.
Now I just do it because it makes me feel good. I just like being healthy. I just also, there's something about just the chemistry of your body when you're healthy. My mood is just very, very even. I'm very, very even-tempered when I'm in shape. When I'm not training, I just feel my mood is all over the place somehow. I'm just very solid and stable when I'm in shape. For me, that's one of the biggest benefits.
Yeah. What's the longest time you've been without training?
I think maybe between 2018 and really when we started training. Yeah. So
wow.
COVID kind of messed everything up, and I was also I stopped doing jiu-jitsu, and that was one of those worst times in my life. So both stopping training and COVID and all of that compounding on top of it. So I now that I'm back in shape, I just feel I'm never gonna drop out of shape again.
Wow.
I need to take care of my body because my mind and my body are the same thing. I need to take care of these things.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think that's powerful. We were actually just talking yesterday where we were saying if your life, like if our lives weren't going well, what would we do? And you very wisely said, get fit, like build your body,
Right.
which I think is a powerful concept, because if you can build that, man, it's not difficult to pick up a piece of iron 20 times or whatever it is.
Right.
But if you can do that, then you can do the next thing, and maybe you could speak to the girl, or maybe you could
Right.
make the right decision when it comes to getting on top of your finance or whatever whatever the thing is. There's some momentum there that you can build.
It's almost just like you're starting laying bricks
Right.
on the ground, one by one. It's nothing when you've just put 3 on the ground. You trained 3 times this week.
Right.
It seems like nothing. But before you know it, you've outlined a house. You outlined a
Right.
structure. And before you know it, you have a wall.
Yeah.
And then you have another floor. It stacks up. Like I feel like everything that's difficult in life is good for you as long as you don't go over a certain limit.
Yeah.
As long as you handle it.
That's right. Reminds me of a story, as you're saying, talking about bricks. A guy walks up to a builder and he's putting some bricks down. He says to him, "Sir, what are you doing?" He says, "I'm just laying some bricks." And he still doesn't really understand what's going on. So he goes to the manager of the building project and says, "What are you guys doing here?" He says, "We're building a wall." And he still doesn't know what's happening. And so he goes to the architect and says to the architect, "What are you doing?" He says, "We're building a cathedral." And it was very interesting when I first heard that story, because sometimes you think you're just putting some bricks down, but actually you're building something beautiful. You're going to somewhere for a purpose. And that's, to me, what, as stupid and as simple and as dumb as it is, it's not complicated.
No.
Like, it really is one of the most simple things you can do. You can look at that as dumb. I'm just putting bricks down. Or actually now I'm building a wall. Or actually there's something much greater and more meaningful that you're accomplishing. And for me, I think one of the things that kept me away from the gym so much is because I looked at it like, oh, you're just building bricks. You're just putting bricks down.
Right.
What's so important about that?
Right.
Now that I'm doing it, I realize, hey, this is really important. And I think this sort of computer, iPhone culture has really deteriorated the benefits of something as simple as moving a piece of iron, picking up a log or whatever, going for a swim. Those things are very, very important.
Yeah, you're like you're taking action when you're
Yeah.
in the gym. But
Yeah.
when you're scrolling on your phone, you're just comparing yourself, and like that's the robber of joy.
And then you see the dude say something smart, and you go, oh yeah, I know that smart thing now. But he's saying it because he spent 20 hours in the gym or 200 hours in the gym or whatever the case may be. Or he overcame his own dragons. And we go, oh yeah, I understand that now. But all we did was that,
Right.
which is not understanding at all.
No.
I've found I've struggled with that. Like some things I think I know because I heard it, because I read it, because I watched it. But I don't know it. Just because I have the intellectual capability to understand those words doesn't mean I got my hands dirty and put that brick down.
And also like it's sometimes like you have to have sticks. You can like
I'm a big meat lover.
You can say
Sorry.
so accurate.
You have to be invested.
Yeah, like you know what the right thing is.
Yes.
You can have the right opinion and you can say the right thing.
Yep.
But implementing it and going through with it on a longer timeline, or having sticks, having skin in the game, and actually going for something that means something to you or is beneficial to you or your environment, and in implementing those ideas, because it's easy to say the right thing, but like doing the right thing is like a completely different thing.
That's right. That's exactly right. And that's, so for me, whilst the gym, it's just the gym. Like, what are you doing? You put a bit of extra protein on your pecs, like no one cares. It's so much more than that, because it grounds all of that stuff. And I think the intellectuals can sometimes dismiss that. And I've done this. Not that I'm an intellectual. I'm pretty stupid, but
No, you're not. No, you're not.
you can sometimes dismiss those simple things. But actually, if you don't do those simple things, you don't have that basic foundation to get to the next level.
Right.
So you can be Stephen Hawkins, this bright dude, but if he's confined to a wheelchair and he can't really communicate those ideas, there's some other people who are maybe not as bright as him, but they could vocalize ideas that could go further.
Right.
So it's not just about how clever you are or how much interaction you have with an idea. It's actually, what do you accomplish? What's the skin of the game? What are the stakes?
Yeah, and just like for me, like it was like I was kind of really fortunate to have started lifting weights early because I could tangibly see, like, you know, if I invest my time, if I
return.
systematically go for with this, I can build something up here. Like, you know, something that was like completely unrealistic goal in the beginning, a goal that I would never set in the beginning. Like with 5 years later, I had achieved that and more.
Wow.
So it felt like, you know, okay, I have something here that I can apply to other things in life. I can chase a goal that seems like fully impossible, but I don't need to look at like at the end goal. I can just like incrementally just see where it takes me, just one step at a time, and just like spend the time, have the discipline to stick with something long enough, put in the work, put in not just blind work, like put in like just thoughtful work, and just make sure that you're applying yourself. For me, that was like one of the biggest things that I got from the gym that I could apply for the rest of my life.
And you've seen that directly implemented in your career.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've stuck to photography and video for a really long time, and it has paid off.
Even though at the beginning you might not have been able to lift the heavy weight, you might not have been taking the best photos or they had the biggest client, but you could see, because I did it in the gym, I can do it here too.
Yeah, and also, like, you know, I just had the audacity of like, you know what, let me just try to get like an apprenticeship. Let me try to be an assistant here. Let me just try to be close to someone that has achieved like something in this field, so I can see how they do or what they think, how this works. Like maybe it was stupid of me to try to think that I could do this, and the likelihoods, like the odds are the odds are against me. Like the likelihood of someone wanting to make a living with a camera, what are the odds? It's not really high odds.
Yeah.
So like, you know, if you think about it too much, if you set the goal too high,
Right.
it might not work out.
But that's why the gym is the perfect analogy.
There you go.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because you walk in, you think, I cannot lift that. And it's true. You can't lift that.
Right.
But if you lift the small thing and you gradually keep on being consistent,
Yeah.
you will get there.
And you'll have days that are bad. You feel like, you know, almost sick, you're tired, you don't want to do it.
Is this a personal attack or something? Every day is like that for me. Every time you're like, let's do the planks, I'm like, oh, swearing at you.
Those are my favorite days. I love those moments. That they feed me.
But you're right. Yeah, as those days come and then you just confront them anyway,
Yeah.
it works out.
And I think like also like, you know, life is sometimes like that too. Like, you know, you'd go through like really bad stuff or things that are like really terrible happen, but you just show up.
Yeah.
You just do what
that.
you need to do anyway. And if you do that enough, then you will have a good day eventually, and you will push through instead of stopping.
Wow, that's powerful.
That's what the gym taught me, to a fault. But I would show up with a cold, and I would like get really sick because I didn't have time to be sick.
Yeah. No, everything can be taken to extreme, but
Yes.
you can't dismiss the truth
No.
just because it could be perverted at the end of the extreme. The truth is, show up.
Yes.
Even if you don't want to show up, show up. Even if you can't perform at the highest level, show up.
Yeah. However bleak the odds are, however, like, you know, like unrealistic your goal is, whatever, just show up anyway. Try.
Yeah.
Keep working at it. Like, do it for 5 years.
Yeah.
What happens? Like, you know, you don't know in 5 years.
Yeah.
You have to just apply yourself for 5 years and see. You might not have the best genetics, or you might not have.
Hey, hold on. Sorry, I'm interrupting you.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You give yourself an out. You give yourself an excuse all the time.
Yeah, I do.
Just quell that. And like that's what the gym taught me. Just show up.
That's right.
Just stop, show up.
Do you know the amount of Mondays I've picked up the phone to WhatsApp you to say, because I've got all the excuses and I worked hard here and I did that thing and I feel a little bit, and I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do that. Put it down. It's almost every Monday I'm flirting with the idea.
I'm sure that voice has gotten a lot smaller with time.
the more McDonald's I put into my mouth, the bigger it gets. But I mean, that is the perfect analogy because McDonald's is convenient, it's cheap, and you can be consistent with McDonald's. And so you do feed that voice of just, let's be complacent.
Yeah.
It's much harder to cook food at home, much harder to cook a really good meal.
More expensive, much more effort.
Yeah.
You have to throw away food because you maybe can't. Yeah, it's McDonald's makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's not good.
But it's not good for you long term. So yeah, the gym is literally working out with you has shifted so much for me. It's been incredible. So yeah, I'm very grateful for it. So thank you.
No, I mean, I'm really thankful to have like a consistent training partner because showing up for this amount of time and because we work hard. Like we're at the end of the week, we're exhausted.
I'm exhausted.
This is yeah. I mean, me too. Me too. So
today I was like, we're gonna have an easy day. We've done 3 hard days. Like everything is so. He's just gonna be kind. He's like killing me. I'm having to drop weight. I'm like, I can't do this. I literally went from 20, 15, 10 at the end. I'm like, I can't do these things. I'm glad you're happy.
That was feeding me. That was like making me. That was giving me strength. That was why I was doing so well.
And then we finished. He's like, okay, we're finished. Except for planks. I'm like, I have to do planks.
Your favorite.
And then we finished planks. He's like, sauna. An hour of sauna.
I think, honestly, I have a hard time respecting myself if I don't do these things. I have less respect for myself if I don't do physical hard things. That's just the honest truth for me.
No, I think there is something of testosterone that says you got to shift things, move things, you got to do difficult things. Like where's the fulfillment come from if you're not accomplishing something difficult?
Also, like, can you see that in Sammy when he has been out, when he has been applying himself, when he's been running, when you guys have been play fighting, when he's been physical?
Yeah,
he's different when he is allowed to be physical when he hasn't. Right?
I notice a difference that if he doesn't get rough and tumble for 2, 3, 4 days, he starts to become really bitchy. Like really, really like attitude problem. Then I'll just spend half an hour of just beating him up and just rolling with him, tying him up and squeezing him and running upstairs and then fighting in the bedroom and then fight in the next room. And then it's like it's such an outlet for him that he just, like I didn't have to shout at him. I didn't have to discipline him, which sometimes you have to do. You don't have to like punish him. I just give him that outlet. Because he loves his mom and he spends all his time with his mom, but he needs to be bullied. He needs to be smacked around. No, but he needs an outlet. He needs to be able to try and punch me in the face, and sometimes he gets me. But he needs that rough and tumble. And then when he's done half an hour of that, he's the most pliable, placid, just fun. Just he's worked it out, and we need that. And like we are no different. We are no different.
I couldn't agree more.
But just please don't punch me in the
face. No, but I think you're right. Like, we are not that far away from, like, we have that same nature. We have that same need. Yeah. We're just like really good at overriding it. Or society is really good at like overriding it for us.
We get good at acting like it's not there, but it's there.
Yeah.
Absolutely there.
Or we like, get it out in the wrong way. We go out for drinking or we're like an asshole to someone in our environment.
I would never do that. I would never do that. Please, for the record, I would never hurt anybody or come close to it.
It's the perfect being.
Just don't look at my knuckles. We were saying this earlier in the sauna. We were saying how Jordan Peterson is defensive against the idea that, the Nazis are so bad, or we're so good. And his comment was, we're all that Nazi. Because we all have that capability for evil. And until you recognize that capability for evil, it's hidden and you could still act on that. But when you recognize, hey man, I could do bad stuff and then control that or put parameters in place that don't allow you to act out of that, to recognize it, that's much more powerful than pretending like you're perfect. Because just look around, nobody is. And to pretend like we couldn't do evil acts, it's deception. We're playing.
Just look at any athlete, any like high achiever person, they have a dark side.
Yeah.
And they have applied that dark side in whatever
In
craft they're doing.
competition.
Look at Michael
And eye
Jordan.
pokes.
Look at Michael Jordan.
Oh, dude.
Do you remember
that
the
guy's a
documentary
killer.
about him?
I've never watched it, but I know some of the.
I mean, that man's mentality is insane. I mean, just any achiever in any field. Like, you can think of other examples that you know of. Like, any achiever in any field, they have a dark side, and they have figured out to like apply that instead of like taking that like and having that come out in a bad way.
Yeah.
They have kind of made it like a power supply.
Yeah, they've redirected that flow. And
Yes, in a productive way.
you know, when you talk about that, the person I think of is John Jones.
Yes.
He is scary. He's very scary. He's got that ability. And then what perfect arena to let it out in, but in the octagon.
And many other MMA fighters are the same way. Dustin Poirier has said like he had some issues when he was growing up. He was pretty sure that he would have been in prison hadn't he found MMA and as an outlet.
Really?
Yeah, that's his own words.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I could never do that. I'm a good person. But I mean, that is the line that people say, no, I could never do that.
Right.
And then I think coming back to the social media side of things and the scrolling, now we get people canceled because of course I could never do that. But you're not experiencing real life. You haven't faced real frustrations. You haven't hit your head against 18 walls today. And then that last 19 person just gets thrown up on because you just can't handle it anymore. You're just scrolling. And so it's easy to cancel people. Yeah. I think a lot of the cancel stuff is just because kids haven't had life experience. And more of culture has become more and more protective so that kids don't really get any pushback until after they finish uni. So you can be a 21-year-old and be happy to cancel someone because they said a wrong word. That was fine 20 years ago, but it's not fine now.
No.
Even though it was a joke or whatever the context was, even if they said it out of hate, no, we cancel them. It's like, no, experience a bit of life. You'll see stuff's really difficult. And when you're dealing with reality, your thumbs don't matter that much. So yeah, I think culture is changing. Like as some of that generation, that Gen Z, are getting into real life and they're seeing you can't just rely on your thumbs. I think some of that is shifting. But there's still some people who believe that they don't have a dark side or they could never do anything wrong. That's John Jones, never me.
Yeah, and it's easy to be on the sidelines of the game and point out the errors after the fact.
Yeah.
But you're not on the field.
Yeah.
Like you're not applying yourself. You're just on the sidelines throwing shit into the field.
That's right.
Like it's so easy to do that. And also I also think there's a bigger game happening. Like there's just a certain amount of pieces on the cake. And if you want a piece of that cake, the whole cake is occupied. So you have to remove a piece of someone else or shrink someone else to make space for you.
Right.
I've seen so many, like, you know, I think we both do, at least I do. I consume a lot of like content from comedians. And my algorithm is pointing out all kinds of hate channels on those comedians. And I can just see like, oh, these guys, they're not coming out under their own name in many cases. And they're just trying to trump up drama, and they're getting traffic, they're getting views, they're getting stuff happening just because they're trying to get a piece of that cake from Tom Segura or whoever.
Yes.
Just by hating on them. And I get it. That's also what the news are doing, right?
Ooh.
They're being sensationalists and they're like trying to make the news, I don't know, just it's a clickbait game, isn't it?
I hate it so much.
It's so annoying.
I hate it because I watch from both extremes, and you watch clips from the. I've never watched news channels, but I watch YouTube, and that'll have clips from Fox and clips from CNN, and you'll see the real interview, and you'll think it's benign. There's nothing said there. It's just normal. You watch Fox. All these lefties losing it, they're going crazy. You watch CNN, all these right people, how can? And you're like, you guys are both idiots. Like, that's not the reality of what was said. There was a context. And then this channel gets hype from mocking this channel. And so it's not even directly about the incident. Now they're feeding intention about this thing that they think is so wrong. It's like, and now the whole ecosystem is built around drama.
It's the WWE. The news are applying the same things as the WWE.
That's right.
There are grudges and like, this is a piece of shit move because of it's just like fabricated drama.
Trump's gonna win it all.
The truth is irrelevant. The truth has nothing to do with anything.
No, the truth, it is. It is, it's secondary. It's who can get the most attention. And it's a shame because media wasn't always that way.
No.
But I think since social media, there's been such a starvation for dollars that they've had to learn social media techniques. And that's basically what the news is. If you watch I can't watch it for more than a couple minutes. It doesn't matter what channel. Those like Americanized news channels, even other Western countries, they're trying to copy the Americans. Ticker tape, but there's like 2 layers of ticker tape, and it's flashes and images, and then it's just sensationalism. It's like, if people are watching that, man, they're getting so corrupted. Whatever their spectrum is, no wonder people hate each other. Because Trump looks like a hero to some, like such a hero to some, and such an evil man to others. Like, and the same thing for Biden. The right thinks Biden is a complete idiot, and anything good he does is just a show. Right. And the left worships him.
Right.
Some of them now think he's old, but you know, he's neither of those things. It's just extremes trying to make you.
There's no voice of reason.
Yeah.
It's only extremes in both opposite directions. There's no actual. So you have to consume news from the right, you have to consume news from the left, and you have to consume news that are as neutral as possible. But I don't think there's any such thing as neutral perspective anymore.
No. I mean, objectively, truthfully, I don't think there's ever been 100% neutral news. But I think when people are honest with their biases, that can center it a bit. And I think when you can have both perspectives at the same table, but these days they've got separate tables. And right. It's just, so my solution is this. I don't watch any of it. I just try and avoid as much of that as I can. And I'll watch some of the external pundits. Like, I really like Russell Brand as a person. I like him. Mm-hmm. And they try to cancel him recently. Whether that's true or not, I don't know.
What happened there? I didn't follow that. I haven't followed him that close.
I didn't follow it much either. I just saw his response, and then that's how I found out that they're trying to cancel him. Okay. But apparently he had been inappropriate with some people, people at BBC or something. But like years ago, 10 years ago. Not that makes it right, but and I think he's refuted those claims. But it went nowhere.
Some people are trying to get a piece of his cake.
Yes, because the thing is, how do you get the cake? You stop the sponsors.
Yeah.
So that's the design of it. His audience, even if he was guilty, probably wouldn't care that much because it was so long ago. And he was promiscuous and all the rest.
Right.
And they tried to cancel Rogan several times.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys, this is so ridiculous. And again, I would never do that. It's only you. But it's only because the camera was running.
Right.
Everyone was saying bad words back in the day. Everybody did.
Right.
Not me. No, I would never do that. But but because you're on camera and you've got sponsors, I'm going to cancel you.
Right. And also, they have sponsors. Like some of these news channels, they have some really, really, really big companies. Some of them are pharmaceutical. And they have so much money behind them, and it's a war of information. If someone is saying the contrary,
yes,
and people bring up that point, okay, we need to kill that perspective.
Yeah,
because we have a ton of money. We have all these tools. We have all these people that we can interview, and we can just we need to bury this perspective because we're getting paid to have this perspective here.
Yeah.
And it's ugly. It's really ugly.
It's really, and Rogan was taken apart for taking ivermectin, one of the many things he took.
Right.
I watched a guy called Dr. John Campbell, which I really liked him. And I liked him because he loves people, and he was very emotional when people were dying at the beginning of COVID. And I thought, okay, this is a guy I respect. He may be wrong or right, but I respect his intention. His heart was good. People who just talk about numbers, you've got to be suspicious of. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of all of this? It's people.
Right.
and he was giving some information on ivermectin. He was copyright struck from YouTube, and he was siding with Rogan on this thing. Apparently, CNN took Rogan apart for ivermectin.
Right.
And recently, Brand, these are all like fringe people, but anyway, Brand did some reporting or read some reporting that ivermectin on the official websites for the World Health Organization, it's been taken down as a horse dewormer, because that was the primary use, which has never been the primary use. It's been one of the many uses.
Right.
And the problem with ivermectin was that it was basically dirt cheap. And so people used it for some things, one of them being horse dewormer, but also COVID. Apparently it helped a lot. And then they had to say it was just a horse dewormer so people wouldn't use it.
Right.
And now that's all quietly been taken away in the background.
Right.
It's just scary, man, that because money's on the table, people will twist those sort of things, which ironically puts more spotlight on it. Why don't you just let it be? Like, that would be the better play. Just let it be. Just ignore it.
Right.
But because there's money on the table, they go greedy, and then they want to try and play with the money. It's a weird world.
It
So
is.
my solution is just don't consume it. I see some of these things, but I try and not be preoccupied. I just try and get to the gym and lift weights.
I mean, honestly, like I try to do the same.
Yeah.
Obviously, we have to follow a little bit what's going on.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I'm still cynical enough. It's difficult enough to have a positive mindset in all of this. So I try
Yes.
to like consume the news like a couple of days a week, not all the week.
Yes.
And I try to focus on positive, constructive, good things that I can control, things that are like in my vicinity, things that I can affect.
Right.
I try to spend most of my time on those things.
Yes.
Because there are, in truth, there's so many things we have zero control over. Why are we thinking about it so much? It's just making us feel powerless and bad.
Yeah.
So I just try to focus on things that I can do something about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. The problem is this thumb opens windows
That's
to, you just see an image and you're like, oh no, now you're thinking about the Israel-Gaza thing. And it's like, now that's 15 minutes and you can't do anything about it.
And the algorithm can sense like, he
he's-
stopped for
he
4
camped here.
seconds on that.
Yeah.
Let's hit him with like
Yeah,
5 more.
Everything's just
5
bombs
more.
being dropped. You're like, oh no. So I've managed to avoid the Instagram bullet. I think I've got an Instagram, but I don't use it, thankfully. But I'm still stuck on Facebook every now and again. And I hate it. I haven't posted anything. I don't comment. I don't look at friend requests. Not that anyone would want to be a friend with me. I just don't use it. But every now and again, I like scroll. So stupid.
Just this morning when you told me you were late, but you were actually hiding and trying to startle me.
You got me. Nice. Nice. Well done, man.
You bastard. You got me good. You got me good.
I got you good, but I didn't record it properly because I was too nervous. My camera just goes down.
But just as I was telling you this, just as you were startling me and getting me, I was about to take out my phone and send you a post from Instagram because, like, there's like this forklift thing and in the compound where we live, and I just wanted to show you something that I thought was funny. But then I thought to myself, you know what? I know Sean doesn't spend time on Instagram. Let me just show him on my phone rather than send him.
Dude, that's so nice of you.
No, but I mean,
You're saving me an addiction. Thank you. I've got way too many addictions already. I don't need an Instagram addiction.
I feel the same way as you do. But Instagram is kind of the only thing that I use.
Well, you sort of have to, though. For your work, you do.
Honestly, that's what I've been telling myself, because like this is like, people kind of maybe like if they're thinking about hiring you, they might check out your Instagram profile. If you have an embarrassingly low number of followers or you have like some odd thing happening on your Instagram, maybe like that like, pushes your stock down or your perspective down. But like now I honestly, it just makes me feel bad. And no perceived perception on me, professional or personal, is worth that. So I really tried to limit my time there.
Good.
I mean, the truth is I can be beneficial for a lot of companies, and if they're judging me by some Instagram thing, okay, hire someone else and let's see how that goes. It's fine. I'm good.
I think you've got you've got a lot of photos on there, and I think you've got a huge amount of followers.
No, I really, I'm very inconsistent, and I don't have that many followers.
6 million, 8 million.
Yeah, no, 7.4 million.
So like you're playing the game, but I don't think you have to be so preoccupied.
I used to be more preoccupied with it. I used to play the game. I used to have ways to try to
I'm sure it helped you.
I maybe that's how I got some of those followers that I still have.
Right.
But honestly, like now at least, I have enough work. I have stable enough income, and I have stable enough clientele that come regularly to me. So I really don't need to do it.
You've peaked.
So
you've plateaued.
Yeah, exactly.
You're going downhill.
Exactly. I've done it. I'm slowly going over the hill into the sunset. I've done it.
But whatever. That's what keeps you playing the game, is feeling like, oh no, I'm out of the game now. I'm going to lose. But the truth is, you're so good at what you do, and you've got such momentum.
You're very kind.
You don't... Advertising helps and marketing helps to get your reputation. But if you've got a reputation, it can maintain that, I'm sure.
It also just feels like Instagram is starting to be like an empty room.
I think so.
What happened on Facebook 5 years ago or something, it feels like the same thing is happening on Instagram now.
I think it has a life cycle.
I think most people feel the same way as we do.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel great to spend a lot of time on there.
No.
It really doesn't.
TikTok's the way. But I mean, we can't get that in Hong Kong. Did you ever try it?
No.
I tried it. Bonnie and I both downloaded it at the same time. We spent 3 hours non-stop just looking at things. It's so easy to scroll. We didn't post anything, but after 3 hours, we both deleted it. We're like, this is cocaine for kids.
Right.
Yeah, this ain't good.
Someone, I think it was even some of the personnel from Instagram were saying that TikTok is really good at somehow through the algorithm spot good content and push that good content up to the surface. So even if you're a small creator,
you can get there.
But if you create a good piece of content or engaging enough piece of content, their algorithm is somehow superior to Instagram in pushing that to the people.
Wow.
So that is one of the good things about TikTok, to my understanding.
Okay.
But it's super short attention span. I think it's even affecting the way movies and TV series are edited today. The time in between cuts is getting shorter and shorter. And I think it's because of social media.
It must be, man.
Yeah.
I was telling you last week, now I'm watching YouTube videos that are 10 minutes long, and it's just the important bits of a movie. You're
watching a supercut.
Yeah, exactly. It's just give me the big details. I don't want to see nuance. I don't want to see emotion. Just see who kills who and who wins at the end. Who done it? I'm happy.
You introduced me to the feature of watching YouTube content on 2x speed. That has been tremendously useful. Because sometimes I want to watch something and I want to get some information from 10 minutes, but I can get there in 5.
I listen to all my WhatsApp messages on double speed, every single one.
Right.
Because I just don't want to hear people doing exactly what I'm doing now.
Get there.
Yeah, halves the watch time, but it's worth it. Yeah, my attention span is definitely lowered.
I mean,
since using social media.
Everyone's. You can imagine what was your favorite movie or TV series 20 years ago? You can't watch it anymore. It's ruined. It doesn't work anymore.
I try to watch. There's an old. People who watch Japanese stuff will know this. It's called Seven Samurai, I think, something like that. It's like from the 30s, so almost 100 years ago. And I watched that. It took me 3 different sittings to watch it because it was so slow. It's just not what content is today. I wonder what we're hurting in our brain by not taking time.
Maybe we just have so many options. There are so many strings that we can pull through our mind that we just want to make sure that we're getting the most dopamine, the most information, the most entertainment possible.
Right.
So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Maybe it's a good thing if we find the best content this way.
I think it's very helpful for you to say that because that's exactly why no one watches this podcast.
And that's fine too. And we're not doing it for the views, are we?
We can't. If that was our motivator, we would have given up.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've enjoyed this podcast, man. I've enjoyed doing it with you because I've learned and grown. And
Same.
it's, as I was saying this morning, it's a little pretentious to put a camera on yourself. I noticed you don't film yourself a lot.
No,
very,
no.
very seldom.
No.
And so I think it's quite arrogant to record yourself and then put it out there for the world. But then also, that's a little bit of a cop-out because I'm not producing anything, but I watch other people. I don't think they're arrogant when they're informing me on how something works or I'm watching cheap entertainment or whatever. I think it's good.
I think it is. It's just like anything. You're applying yourself. You could
Yes.
theorize forever about like the
That's
perfect
right.
training cycle, how you split the gym program, what muscle groups you
Yeah.
should, and you never implement anything. You don't do anything.
Yeah.
But you know exactly how to do it. But that's enough for you. You don't need to do it. Actually, you don't have the time. This is beyond, like, you
I'm
know,
too
I
good
should,
for this.
Yeah. I'm focusing on these other things here.
That's arrogance.
Yes.
So
At least we're applying ourselves.
I had that thought in my mind. I'm wrestling with myself and I'm
Yeah.
thinking, actually, yeah, I can see why this looks arrogant, but I'm grateful for the opportunity to try. We're not trying to chase views. We're not trying to get thousands of people to watch us. Actually, I'm grateful when people don't watch us,
Same.
especially you. No.
I sound so dumb. I talk so slow. I'm so annoyed when I'm editing this. I'm like, get better at speaking. Goodness me. I'm
Dude, this is your second language and you're owning it. I think you're great.
I think you're very complimentary. I think you're being very nice.
Well, it is your second language, right? It's not your first language.
Yeah. Yes.
And I can barely speak English. So what are you talking about?
You are like. Let's not get into it. I'm not gonna.
When I hear my own accent, I want to poke my eyeballs out. It is. I'm like, what are you talking like? You're not a South African. You're not English. It's this weird mix.
But isn't it funny? Like Americans thinks it's so cool to have like an accent. Oh, that's
Right.
so interesting. Oh, like they want to have an accent, but we have an accent. And we're like, oh,
We don't like
so
these.
terrible. We all are so insecure and uncomfortable
Yeah.
with who we are. It's so frustrating. Why can't we just be?
Be confident.
Yeah.
Let's be humble. We're the best.
No, but it's like, also like, it's funny with skin tone in Asia, everyone wants to be as white and pale as possible.
It's true.
But in Europe, everyone
Everyone's
wants to
good
be as
suntan and-
tanned and brown as possible. We all want to be whatever we're not.
The grass is greener. The grass is definitely greener. No, I'm grateful for this. Thank you, man.
Yeah, me too. This has been a journey.
I appreciate it. 12th podcast. Let's see if we get to number 13.
Let's just decide. We're definitely gonna do a 13.
We'll do a
Let's
13.
find time
Let's do it on the beach.
in the Hong Kong summer.
You know,
We're
we'll be
gonna
just
melt.
dripping.
That's gonna be a 10-minute pot.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.